The thunder cracked like a gunshot over the endless Nebraska plains, jolting the old Ford pickup as if it had a heartbeat of its own. I gripped the wheel tighter, my knuckles white against the storm-lashed glass, while Ethan, my boss, my tormentor, the man who'd upended my quiet life in one reckless email, stared out at the black void, his jaw set like he was chewing on unspoken regrets. "Pull over," he said finally, his voice cutting through the roar of rain like a blade. "Before we end up in a ditch, and I have to explain to corporate why their golden boy drowned us both in the middle of nowhere." That was Ethan Hale, 38, sharp as a Chicago winter, with eyes the color of Lake Michigan after a storm. Gray and unforgiving, but capable of pulling you under all the same. I'd been his junior analyst at Hale and Associates for 2 years, crunching numbers in the glass tower overlooking the loop, dreaming of the day I'd climb high enough to breathe without his shadow. He was the firm's wunderkind, the guy who'd turned a floundering real estate startup into a Midwest powerhouse. All charisma and calculated risks. Straight as an arrow, or so the office whispered. Married once, divorced acrimoniously, no kids, no scandals. Just Ethan, always 3 steps ahead, leaving the rest of us scrambling in the dust. The email had come on a Tuesday, innocuous at first. "Road trip to Omaha. Client pitch. You're driving. No please, no why me." I said yes because saying no to Ethan was like arguing with gravity. You just fell harder. We'd left Chicago at dawn, the city skyline shrinking in the rearview like a bad memory, winding through cornfields that stretched to infinity under a sky that promised trouble. The pitch was for a strip mall development, nothing glamorous, but Ethan treated it like D-Day. He'd talked the whole way, about market fluctuations, zoning laws, the ghost of his ex-wife who still haunted his alimony checks, while I nodded, stealing glances at the way his button-down strained against his shoulders when he gestured wildly. By dusk, the storm hit like divine intervention. Sheets of rain hammered the windshield, turning the highway into a river. Visibility zero, wipers slapping futility. That's when the check engine light blinked on, mocking us with its orange glow. Ethan cursed under his breath, punching coordinates into his phone. Nearest motel, 15 miles. Some fleabag called the Prairie Rose. Pray it's got vacancy. Didn't. Not for 2 rooms, anyway. The clerk, a gum-chewing woman with hair like steel wool, peered at us through smudged glasses. "Storm's got everyone holing up. 1 room left. King bed. Take it or leave it." Ethan shot me a look, half apology, half challenge. My stomach twisted. "We'll take it," he said, sliding his corporate card across the counter like it could buy dignity. The room smelled of mothballs and regret. Peeling wallpaper the color of faded dreams, a TV bolted to the wall circa 1995, and that bed, a monolithic slab draped in a quilt that had seen better decades. 1 bed. King-sized, sure, but the implications hung heavier than the humidity. I dropped my duffel by the door, avoiding his eyes. "I'll take the floor. Got a hoodie for a pillow." "Don't be stupid, Alex." His voice softened, almost gentle, as he shrugged off his jacket, revealing the damp cling of his shirt to the lean lines of his chest. "It's 1 night. We're adults. Pitch is at 9. We need sleep, not melodrama." Adults, right? I was 26, fresh out of Northwestern with an MBA that felt like fool's gold, still navigating the closet I'd built brick by brick in a Bible Belt suburb. Gay in whispers, straight in spreadsheets. Ethan? He was the sun around which my professional orbit spun, brilliant, distant, dangerously close tonight. We showered in shifts, the ancient pipes groaning like they resented the intrusion. I emerged in boxers and a tee, towel drying my hair, to find him already under the covers, propped on pillows with his laptop balanced on his knees, reviewing slides. The lamp cast a golden pool over his features. High cheekbones shadowed, lips pressed in concentration. He glanced up, and for a split second, his gaze lingered warm, assessing, before flicking back to the screen. "Slide 7's weak," he said, as if we were still in the conference room. "The ROI projections make M pop more tomorrow." I slid under the covers on my side, the mattress dipping toward him like it had ulterior motives. The space between us crackled, charged as the air outside. Got it, boss. Night. But sleep was a traitor. The storm raged, lightning etching white scars across the blinds. I lay rigid, hyper-aware of his breathing. Steady, rhythmic, inches away. Memories crept in unbidden. The way he'd clapped my shoulder after my first big close, his hand lingering a beat too long. The late nights in the office, takeout containers between us, his laugh cutting through my nerves like sunlight. Was it admiration? Or something stupider, like hope? A rumble shook the walls, and Ethan stirred. Alex! His voice was rough with half-sleep. You awake? Yeah. I turned toward him, silhouettes in the dim. Storms biblical. He chuckled low, the sound vibrating through the sheets. Reminds me of that summer in the Keys. Dad dragged us fishing, hurricane warnings be damned. Boat nearly flipped. Thought we'd end up chum. I'd never heard him talk family before. Not like this. Sounds intense. It was. He was intense. Army vet built like a tank. Expected the same from me. A pause. Heavy. Didn't turn out that way. The vulnerability hit like a rogue wave. I propped on an elbow. What do you mean? He sighed, setting the laptop aside. The bed shifted as he faced me, our knees brushing accidentally, or not. The divorce. She said I was married to the job. Maybe she was right, but it wasn't just that. His eyes met mine in the half-light, searching. I haven't been honest with people. With myself. My heart hammered. Ethan. Shut up and listen. But his tone was soft, coaxing. When I hired you, Alex, it wasn't just your resume. You had this fire. Reminded me of who I used to be. Before the suits, the mergers. Before I let fear call the shots. Fear? From Ethan Hale? The man who negotiated multimillion deals over steak tartare? What are you afraid of? He reached out, hesitant, his fingers tracing the line of my jaw. Electric, tentative. This. And then he kissed me. It was slow, deliberate, tasting of rain and unspoken years. Not the frantic clash of desperation, but a question posed in the language of touch. I answered, pulling him closer, the world narrowing to the heat of his mouth, the scrape of stubble, the way his hand cupped my neck like I was fragile, precious. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed. I've wanted that since the interview, he murmured. Your smile. That damn tie you wore. Navy, like you owned the room. I laughed, breathless. And you scared the hell out of me in that suit. Thought you'd eat me alive. Still might. His grin was boyish, unguarded. But then the storm outside mirrored the one building inside. Doubts, what-ifs, the chasm of power between us. We talked till dawn crept in. About his ex, not a woman scorned but a marriage of convenience to silence suspicions. About my high school crushes buried under football cheers. About the loneliness of boardrooms and bar tabs. By the time the rain tapered to drizzle, we'd mapped each other's scars. The bed a confessional. The pitch went flawlessly. I nailed the ROI slide, Ethan's eyes on me like spotlights. Handshakes all around, deal in the bag. On the drive back, windows down, golden fields blurring by, he reached for my hand across the console. Dinner? My place. No work talk. I squeezed back. Yeah, I'd like that. Chicago welcomed us with its jagged skyline, a beacon of reinvention. Ethan's penthouse overlooked the river, all sleek lines and city pulse. We cooked. Pasta, nothing fancy, wine flowing like confessions. Laughter echoed off exposed brick. His stories painting a man I'd only glimpsed. The kid who snuck into blues clubs, the lover who'd fled to the closet after a college heartbreak. That night, tangled in Egyptian cotton, it was more than kisses. Whispers of futures, dreams we'd shelved for safety. You're changing me, Alex, he said, tracing patterns on my skin. Making me believe in second acts. I believe, too, in us. But illusions crack under scrutiny. 2 weeks later, the email chain surfaced, CC'd to HR by anonymous sender. Ethan's merger notes, but laced with sabotage. Inflated valuations, insider tips to rivals. My name, forged in digital ink, tied to the leaks. Betrayal burned like acid. I confronted him in his office. Door slammed. "What the hell, Ethan? You set me up." His face drained of color. "Alex, no, it's not. Save it." I flung the printouts across his desk. "I trusted you. After everything." He stood, hands raised. "Listen, it's her Claire. My ex. She's gunning for the firm using old access codes. The forgeries. They're her. I swear." But doubt festered. Late nights alone, I pored over logs, finding anomalies, his IP in Omaha timestamps matching the leaks. Coincidence? Or calculation? The climax hit at the annual gala. Grant Park glittering under stars, black ties and champagne flutes. Ethan pulled me aside, into the shadowed alcove by the bean. "I love you," he said, raw, urgent. "Whatever this is, we'll fight it." But Claire appeared then, sleek in red, her smile a stiletto. "Darling," she purred, linking his arm. "Missed our dance." The pieces shattered. Not just leaks affair. Recent. Photos on her phone, blurred but damning, them entangled post-Omaha. "Insurance," she hissed when he recoiled. "You think I'd let you rebuild without me?" He shoved her away. "It's over, Claire. Was always a mistake." She laughed, venomous. "Tell that to your pretty boy here. To me, he used you, Alex. Bait for the merger. Emotional leverage to keep you loyal while he played both sides." The world tilted. Ethan's pleas blurred into white noise. I fled into the night, the city a blur of neon accusations. Days bled into silence. My resignation sat drafted, unsent. Then, a knock, him, disheveled, rain-soaked again, on my doorstep in Wicker Park. "I sold the firm," he said, voice cracking. "Claire got nothing. But that's not why I'm here." He stepped closer, eyes pleading. "I was scared, of losing control, of feeling this much. The affair. It was her manipulating old wounds. A weak moment after the divorce hearing. But you're the truth I ran from." I wanted to slam the door. Instead, I pulled him in. "Prove it." We rebuilt, brick by tentative brick. Therapy sessions in neutral offices, boardrooms yielding to coffee shops. He came out to the world quietly, a LinkedIn post that went viral in niche circles. I stood beside him at pride parades, hand in his, the rainbow flags a banner of defiance. Not fairy tale perfect. Fights over trust, nights when doubt whispered. But in the quiet mornings, his head on my chest, listening to the L train rumble by, I saw the humanism in it. Two flawed men, American dreamers, choosing vulnerability over victory. The prairie rose faded to legend, that one bed a portal to grace. We'd traveled far, through storms literal and not, to find home in each other. And in the end, that's the real estate that matters. Space for two hearts to finally rest. The autumn after the gala, Chicago wrapped itself in crimson and gold, the kind of beauty that masked the chill creeping in from Lake Michigan. Ethan and I navigated our new rhythm like tightrope walkers. Cautious steps over the void we'd nearly fallen into. Morning started with his coffee ritual. Black, no sugar, brewed in that ridiculous French press he'd lugged back from a Paris conference. I'd tease him about it, calling it his fancy pants fuel. And he'd retaliate by stealing bites of my bagel, crumbs dusting his tie like confetti from a half-fought war. Work was the minefield. I'd withdrawn the resignation, but boundaries blurred the lines. Hale and Associates rebranded to Hale Rivera Ventures. My name etched in, a concession to equality. Clients raised eyebrows at first, the whisper network buzzing with speculation. Hale's got a new partner? In more ways than one. But Ethan handled it with his trademark steel. A firm memo on inclusivity, followed by record quarterly gains, proving love and ledgers could coexist. Still, Claire's shadow lingered. Her lawsuit dragged on, a tabloid vulture circling our headlines. Paparazzi snaps of us at Navy Pier, cotton candy in hand, laughing like idiots, splashed across gossip rags. Tycoon trades trophies for twink? One blared. I laughed it off publicly, but privately it gnawed. Was I the rebound? The experiment? One evening, As leaves skittered across Michigan Avenue, Ethan cornered me in the kitchen. "We're doing this wrong," he said, setting down his tablet. Another deposition draft glaring up, hiding behind spreadsheets. "Let's get out. Road trip. No clients, no calls." I arched a brow. "Like Omaha? Better." His grin was pure mischief. Route 66 vibes. Start in Illinois, end in California. You, me, and zero agenda. We packed light. His vintage Mustang convertible, top down even as frost nipped the air. My playlist of Springsteen and Chappell Roan blasting defiance. The first leg blurred past Joliet's prisons and into Springfield, Lincoln's ghost watching us bicker over gas station jerky. "You're hogging the AUX, he accused, swatting my thigh. "Admit it, you love my taste." I cranked the volume, wind whipping our hair into chaos. Nights were tentative symphonies. Motels with 2 beds this time, but we'd migrate to 1. Bodies aligning like puzzle pieces worn smooth. No rush, no conquest. Just the poetry of rediscovery. In a St. Louis diner at midnight, over pie that defied gravity, he confessed more. Claire wasn't the first mistake. College, there was a guy, Mark, lacrosse captain. We hooked up in the dorms, thought it was forever. Then he ghosted when his folks visited. Taught me to armor up. I traced his knuckles, scarred from a boyhood brawl. "I'm not ghosting." His eyes softened. "I know, but I'm still learning to believe it." The heartland unfolded like a confession booth. Tulsa's oil rigs silhouetted against sunsets. Amarillo's Cadillac ranch rusting in fields of possibility. We detoured to a powwow in Oklahoma, drums echoing ancient resilience. Ethan's hand in mine drawing stares, but no shame. An elder gifted us sage, murmuring blessings in Comanche. Hearts heal when they bend, not break. By Flagstaff, doubts resurfaced. A voicemail from my mom, voice tight with that southern lilt I'd fled. "Alexander, your sister's wedding's next month. Bring a date? Or whoever." The pause said volumes. Closeted kid from Alabama, now out in the Windy City. Progress, but the chasm yawned. Ethan overheard, pulling over at a roadside overlook, pinyon pines whispering below. "Tell her about me. What if she?" "Then we face it." He cupped my face, thumb brushing my lip. "Together, or not at all." I called her from a payphone, relic of another era, the line crackling like nerves. "Mom, there's someone. Ethan. He's important." Silence, then a sigh. "As long as he treats you right, honey, that's all a mama wants." Tears stung. Ethan's arm around me, solid as sequoias ahead. We pushed west, the desert blooming improbable wildflowers after a flash rain. Proof of renewal. But conflict brewed in the canyons. Claire's lawyer cornered us in Gallup, New Mexico. A slick suit with a briefcase full of affidavits. "Mr. Hale, a word?" "Off the record." Ethan waved me ahead to the trading post, turquoise and silver glinting like temptations. I wandered aisles of woven baskets, haggling half-heartedly over a bracelet, but unease coiled. 20 minutes stretched to 40. When he emerged, face ashen, he forced a smile. "Navajo fry bread? My treat." Later, in an adobe motel with adobe stars wheeling overhead, I pressed. What did he want? Nothing. Smoke signals. But his evasion was a red flag. The next dawn, over black coffee in the room, I found it. His phone, unlocked on the charger. Texts from an unknown. Deposit confirmed. Keep quiet. Deal's yours. Attached. Wire transfer to an offshore account. Claire's play, or his? Betrayal's knife twisted anew. We drove in silence to the Grand Canyon, the chasm mirroring my gut. At the rim, tourists oblivious, I exploded. Who's C? The money. It's you, isn't it? Laundering through the merger to screw me over again. He staggered back, wind howling accusation. Alex, God no. It's for you. A trust. For us. In case the lawsuit tanks everything. Lies. I shoved the phone at him. You think I'm your kept boy? Pity fund. It's protection. His voice broke, raw. I've lost before, firm marriage, Mark. Can't lose you too. We stood there, abyss between, until rangers glanced our way. The drive to Sedona was funeral procession slow, words weaponized. Pull over, I said finally, echoing that first storm. He did, at a Red Rock Vista, engine ticking cool. I love you, he whispered, not touching. But if you need space, I need truth. Tears hot. All of it. He spilled. The trust, yes, 5-year salary vested in my name. The texts, his accountant, coded for discretion. Claire's ploy was deeper. Fabricated emails implicating us both in embezzlement, leverage to force a buyout. Fight with me, he pleaded. Or walk, but choose. The sun dipped, painting cliffs in fire. I chose. Together, we unraveled the web from payphones and library computers, hiring a PI in Phoenix, tracing funds to Claire's Cayman shell. Climax came in L.A., unannounced at her Beverly Hills lair. Glass walls, ocean view mocking her malice. She lounged poolside, martini in hand, feigning surprise. Ethan, darling. And the accessory. He didn't flinch. Game over, Claire. Feds have your logs. Her laugh tinkled like breaking ice. You think this is about money? It's you. Always you. Slipping away. Venom cracked to vulnerability. I loved you once. The real you. Before the hiding. Ethan's voice steadied. That love was poison. For both of us. She crumpled, confession spilling. The leaks, the forgeries. All to drag him back, or destroy him. Police arrived discreet, cuffs soft as silk on her wrists. No headlines. A quiet plea, community service in lieu of bars. In the aftermath, Ethan and I washed ashore in Malibu, toes in surf, the Pacific a bomb. Humanity's messy, he said, sand between fingers. But worth the salvage. Back in Chicago, winter blanketed the city in hush. My sister's wedding. Alabama pines, magnolias defiant. I walked her aisle, Ethan beside in seersucker, holding my hand through vows. Mom hugged him fierce. Welcome, son. Our life wove onward, expanding the firm to green developments, urban farms in food deserts, humanism in blueprints. Pride floats, foster kids mentored. Nights with vinyl spinning Dylan laments turned anthems. That one bed in Nebraska? It birthed not just us, but a legacy. Vulnerability as valor, love as the ultimate merger. In America's vast heart, we found ours, beating, unbroken. Spring thawed Chicago's grip, the river shedding ice like old skin, and with it came the real test, normalcy. Ethan and I settled into a rhythm that felt dangerously domestic. Sundays at the farmer's market in Logan Square, haggling over heirloom tomatoes. Weeknights with takeout from Giordano's, deep dish debates dissolving into couch tangles. But normalcy was a fragile construct, built on the rubble of our storms. The firm thrived. Hale Rivera inked deals that reshaped skylines. Affordable housing in Englewood, solar arrays on abandoned lots. I led the community outreach, Ethan the boardroom ballet. Colleagues toasted our synergy. Code for the unspoken. Yet envy simmered. Whispers from VPs eyeing my rapid rise, chalking it to nepotism with a wink. Sleeping your way to the top, Rivera? I'd fire back with data, but the barb stuck. Ethan noticed, pulling strings to fast-track promotions for the skeptics. Let them stew, he'd say, nuzzling my neck over briefing papers. We've got the receipts. But receipts couldn't mend the fractures in me. Therapy unearthed ghosts. My father's silence after finding my hidden diary, pages dog-eared with crushes on the quarterback. The exodus to Illinois, chasing anonymity in annals. You're enough, my counselor droned, but doubt echoed louder. Ethan sensed it, planning a surprise. A weekend in Door County, Wisconsin, cherry orchards blooming pink against Lake Michigan's turquoise. We rented a cabin on the bay, wood smoke and waves our only company. Evenings by the fire, he read aloud from Kerouac, voice gravelly with emotion. On the road again, he'd quip, pulling me close. But this time, no detours. One night, stars pricking the velvet sky, He knelt. Not proposal, but revelation. I wrote something. A journal, leather-bound, entries spanning years. My first day, nerves electric. The Omaha storm, heart pounding not from thunder. Post-gala despair, vowing to fight. You're my plot twist, Alex. The redemption arc. Tears blurred ink. And you're mine. But romance's bloom invites thorns. Claire's fallout rippled. Her plea deal unearthed accomplices. A junior exec at the firm, poached by her promises of equity. Betrayal sequel. He'd skimmed petty cash, funneled to her war chest, using my access codes during those late nights Ethan and I had shared wine-fueled dreams. Discovery hit like a freight, audit flags during a routine compliance check. The exec, Tom, mid-40s, family man, golf buddy of Ethan's, crumbled in interrogation, tears for his kids' college funds. She said it was victimless, just numbers. Ethan's rage was arctic. Get out. No screams, just finality. Tom left in disgrace, firm intact but trust eroded. I absorbed the blow hardest. Was I blind? Or bait again? Ethan's arms enveloped. No. You were hope. The climax simmered through summer, erupting at our first joint conference. Austin's South by Southwest, tech bros and venture vultures swarming. We keynote on ethical urbanism. Slides sinking like our breaths. Q&A turned ambush. A reporter, Claire's plant, lobbing grenades. Mr. Rivera, rumors of internal fraud. Did your relationship blindside oversight? Flashbulbs popped. I froze, podium a scaffold. Ethan stepped in, voice steel. Oversight was ironclad. The fraud, isolated, prosecuted. As for us, love's the best due diligence. Applause rippled, but backstage, I shattered. They see me as your arm candy, the diversity hire who slept up. He pulled me into a green room, door barred. You're the visionary, my equal. If they can't see it, fuck 'em. We fled to the Colorado River, kayaks cutting turquoise, herons silent witnesses. Paddling tandem, rhythm sinking, I unloaded. I need more, not just us, legacy. Start a foundation for queer youth in the sticks, like I was. His paddle stilled. Yes, with you. Betrayal's echo faded in action. The Alex Rivera Foundation launched that fall scholarships for rural LGBTQ+ kids. Mentorships bridging city to country. First event. A harvest festival in Iowa, corn mazes and cider, teens wide-eyed at our stories. One boy, 17, freckled and fierce, gripped my hand. You make it real, not just TV. Ethan watched, pride swelling. That's you, Alex. Changing trajectories. Winter brought introspection. Holidays split. Me to Alabama for turkey and tension. Him to his sisters in Milwaukee for lutefisk and laughter. FaceTime bridged gaps. His nieces quizzing me on Chicago snowmen. My aunt eyeing the screen suspiciously. He treat you good? Better than good, Aunt Rita. New Year's Eve, we rang in atop Willis Tower, skydeck winds whipping. Fireworks bloomed over the sprawl, a canvas of possibility. To us, he toasted, champagne flutes clinking. Messy, miraculous. But humanity's arc bends slow. Spring trials tested. A donor pulled from the foundation, citing moral optics. Protests at a build site. Locals decrying gentrification by gays. Ethan armored up, but I cracked one night, pacing our loft. Are we selfish? Pushing our love when it hurts others? He drew me to the window, city lights a constellation. Love heals more than it wounds. Remember the powwow? Bending, not breaking. Summer solstice, we road-tripped east. Appalachian trails, bluegrass fiddles in Asheville. In a Smoky Mountain cabin, rain pattering like applause, he proposed properly. Ring simple, silver with sapphire inlay. Marry me? Not for show, for us. Knees weak, I yesed. Wedding planning wove whimsy. Rooftop vows in Pilsen, murals vibrant backdrop. Menu fusion. Gumbo meets pierogi. The ceremony. Sun dipping gold, friends toasting resilience. My father's absence ached. But a letter arrived, scrawled apology. Proud, son. Love wins. Mom danced with Ethan, twirling to Motown. Life post-vows. Honeymoons in the Keys, his boyhood haunts. Expansions to the firm, eco-villages in Detroit's ruins. Fatherhood beckoned. A surrogate, our son Theo arriving squalling. Eyes gray like his dad's. Fire like mine. Years blurred. Theo's first steps on lakefront sand. Scraped knees kissed. Boardroom battles won with wit, not war. Claire resurfaced once, rehab graduate, letter seeking amends. Ethan replied grace. Forgiven. Move on. In twilight rambles along the 606 trail, Ethan's hand in mine, I marveled. From one bed's gamble to this tapestry. America, flawed, fierce, mirrored us. Immigrants' grit, outcasts' triumph, love's quiet revolution. We'd traveled far, but home was here. Two souls, intertwined, scripting anthems from ashes. Decades turn, and Chicago had etched us deeper. Laugh lines bracketing Ethan's eyes, silver threading my temples like secret codes. Theo, at 8, was a whirlwind. Curly mop, questions endless. Dad, why's the skyline crooked? We'd trace it on maps, plotting family jaunts to the structure's births. The foundation flourished, chapters sprouting like dandelions. Atlanta hubs for trans elders, Seattle safe houses for runaways. I keynote at TEDx, voice steady recounting Omaha's thunder, the bed that bridged worlds. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the blueprint for belonging. Ethan cheered from front row, tie loosened, pride palpable. Post-talk, over whiskey in a dive, he murmured, "You glow up there, my poet. And you're my anchor." But anchors drag sometimes. Midlife murmured. Ethan's restlessness, mergers morphing to malaise. What if we sold? He broached one dawn, Lakeview misted. Traveled. Saw the world sans spreadsheets. I paused, toast mid-bite. And Theo? The legacy? His sigh-fogged glass. Legacy's you too. The rest. Echoes. Conflict crested subtly. A rival bid for the firm. Whispers of Ethan's fatigue leaking to street. Board pressured. Shape up or ship out. He doubled down. Nights blurring into dawn. Scotch his companion. I confronted in the study. Theo asleep upstairs. You're fading, Ethan. For what? Another trophy deal? Eyes bloodshot. For us. Security. Claire's ghost. Can't let it haunt Theo. It's haunting you. I knelt, hands on knees. Cell. We'll rebuild smaller, truer. He resisted, pride a bulwark. Climax brewed at the holiday party. Opulent Drake ballroom, chandeliers dripping light. A toast gone sour, investor slurring. Hales washed up. That boy toy draining the tank. Ethan's fist clenched stemware. I intervened. Charm deflection. Love fuels innovation. Ask Tesla. But backstage he unraveled. They're right. I'm spent. No. I pulled him close, music muffled. You're human. That's the point. Betrayal's twist. Not his, but fate's. A routine checkup, shadow on scan, pancreatic whisper. Stage 2, treatable, but the word cancer landed like lightning redux. Hospital halls echoed our first motel groans. Chemo suites, Ethan's hand in mine, for drips metronoming resolve. Not leaving you, he rasped, bald pate gleaming defiant. Theo needs his old man for T-ball. Foundation pivoted. Wellness grants for queer cancer warriors. Stories shared in support circles. I wrote op-eds. Love in the time of lab coats. Drawing donors, diluting dread. Remission came spring, petals defiant. We honeymooned domestic. Train to New Orleans, jazz funerals turned celebrations. Bourbon Street beignet, Ethan's laugh full-throated. Theo grew, braces glinting at homecoming dances, crushes confessed over pancakes. Like you and Papa? He'd tease, inclusive as rainbows. Our silver anniversary. Prairie Rose Redux, Nebraska Plains, storm-brewed nostalgia. One bed booked deliberate, quilt unchanged. We lay tangled, thunder rumbling benediction. 10 more. I whispered. 20. His kiss seasoned, sure. Humanism's close. Ethan's book, Bedside Mergers. Memoir of Storms Navigated. Lessons in Letting Go. Bestseller in niches. Forward mine. He taught me home's not place, but person. Retirement beckoned gentle. Consultancy from a lakeside cottage. Porch swings creaking tales. Theo off to college. Northwestern. Full circle. Majoring urban planning. Building worlds like you, Dad. Grandkids came late. Lila, fierce toddler scaling bookshelves. Jasper, quiet inventor with Ethan's gaze. Holidays boomed, multi-gen chaos. Recipes fused. Gumbo with pierogi dumplings. In quiet eves, as city hummed distant, Ethan and I'd walk the beach. Lake Michigan lapping ageless. From one rainy night, he'd muse arm looped mine. To eternity, America's promise. Ragged, redemptive, unfolded in us. Immigrant sons, lovers leap, a testament that in the heartland's hush, one bed could birth a universe. Love, dramatic and deep, endures, not flawless, but fiercely, humanly ours.